What if I told you the deadliest war in human history could have been stopped by one person? Not a soldier, not a politician, not a spy. You. You don't remember his name. That's the thing that should keep you up at night. You looked at his work. You made your decision. You went home for dinner. You forgot him completely. He never forgot you. It's 1907. Vienna. You're a professor at the Academy of Fine Arts, one of the most respected art schools in Europe. Your job today is exactly what it always is. Review portfolios, grade them, accept the talented ones, reject the rest. You've done this 100 times. You'll do it 100 more. It means nothing to you. You look at his drawings. Technically decent, architectural sketches mostly. Buildings, facades, clean lines, no feeling. You note what's missing. He can't draw people. His human figures are stiff, lifeless. The committee agrees. You write the word that will echo through history, though you don't know it yet. Rejected. You go home. You have dinner, maybe wine. You sleep fine. Somewhere across Vienna, a 18-year-old named Adolf Hitler reads your decision, and something inside him breaks in a direction the world is not prepared for. Here's what you didn't know about the boy whose portfolio you just tossed into the rejection pile. He walked to that academy with everything he had. His mother was sick. She would die of cancer that same year. His father was already dead. He had no money, no plan B, no safety net. Art wasn't a hobby for Adolf Hitler. It was the only version of himself he could imagine. He applied twice. You, or your committee, rejected him both times. The rejection letters said his drawings showed insufficient appreciation of the human figure. Too clinical, too cold. Ironically, and this is the part that should make you deeply uncomfortable, the very coldness you rejected him for is exactly what made him effective at everything he did next. You rejected the wrong quality in him. Now pause, because if you were actually sitting in that committee room in 1907, here's what your internal monologue probably sounded like. Next portfolio. Buildings. More buildings. Why does this kid only draw buildings? There's not a single human being in any of these that looks like it has a soul. Hard pass. Next. That's it. That's the whole thought. No ominous music. No sense of dread. Just next. You had 112 other portfolios to review that day. This one took maybe 4 minutes of your life. 4 minutes. That's less time than it takes to make coffee. After your second rejection in 1908, Hitler didn't go home. He had no home to go to. He spent the next 5 years living in Viennese homeless shelters and cheap men's dormitories. He survived by selling small watercolor postcards of city buildings on the street. The same architectural style you told him wasn't good enough for your school. He was broke, directionless, and increasingly bitter. This is where it gets important. Vienna in those years was a political pressure cooker. Anti-Semitic pamphlets were everywhere, political agitators on every corner, and Hitler, with no job, no family, no future, and now no identity, had nothing but time to read, absorb, and radicalize. Historians argue about how much the rejection directly caused what followed. Some say he was already unstable. Some say art school rejection alone doesn't create a dictator. But here's what nobody argues. If he had gotten in, if you had accepted him, his entire trajectory changes. He becomes a Viennese architect or painter, obscure, harmless. The question isn't whether you caused it. The question is, you were the last normal door that was open to him, and you closed it. Here's the detail that makes this story even more uncomfortable. One professor at the academy did see something in Hitler's work. Professor Alfred Roller, a celebrated set designer, actually offered to meet with him after the rejection. Hitler, by that point, was too demoralized and too broke to follow up. Think about what that means. There was a version of this story where someone reached back. where someone said, "This kid has something, even if it's rough," where someone treated the rejection as a detour, not a door slamming shut forever. That person existed. That meeting almost happened. It didn't. 2 people failed Hitler in the same week. You, by rejecting him correctly by the Academy's standards, and Roller, by offering help that came too late. The system worked exactly as it was designed to. And that was the problem. So what was the actual mistake? It wasn't the rejection. The committee was technically right. His human figures were weak. By academic standards, he didn't qualify. The mistake was that nobody asked the question underneath the question. Why can't he draw people? Not as a criticism, as a question. Because the answer to that question in 1907 might have revealed something important. A kid with a stunted emotional relationship to other human beings, desperately lonely, losing his mother, with no support system, an enormous, raw ambition that had nowhere to go. That's not an art problem. That's a person in crisis. The one mistake wasn't the grade. It was that in 1907, an art academy's job was to find talent, not to find people. And nobody in that building that day was looking for people, including you. You went home that evening and forgot his name before you even reached your front door. That's not cruelty. That's just being human. You reviewed portfolios. You did your job. By every standard of that room, on that day, you made the correct decision. And 60 million people died. That's what it means to be near evil. Not the monster, not the hero. The person who was just doing their job, standing close enough to change everything, who went home for dinner instead. What would you have done differently? Leave it in the comments. I actually want to know.